FM is your only station.
A pleasant good morning from Monrovia and welcome to King's Newsroom 45 minutes of accurate, balanced, and credible news about Liberia, Africa, and our one word. Today is Wednesday, March 19, 2025. I'm Cornelius Johnson presenting this early morning edition of the program. Stories topping the headlines: Liberia National Police Inspector General brands motorcyclists as highest killers of citizens. Gregory Coleman says commercial bike and tricycle riders have killed more people than any other moving object operator or crimes in Liberia. Dozens of angry job-seeking members of ruling United Party National Youth League lead protests at the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises and Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism in demand of immediate job opportunities. A Deputy House Speaker Thomas Falai once suspended lawmakers to stay off the premises of the House of Representatives or face stringent actions, failure to adhere as the majority bloc extends Representatives Marvin Cole and Edward Flomo suspension with additional 30 days. Away from home, 8 countries, 6 of them in Africa, including Nigeria, Kenya, Lesotho, could soon run out of HIV drugs following the U.S. government's recent decision to pause foreign aid. That's according to the United Nations World Health Organization. And Israeli military says it is carrying out extensive strikes in the Gaza Strip, with the Hamas-run health ministry reporting more than 400 Palestinians have been killed. The news bulletin voices of the newsmakers are all packaged in this early morning edition of the program. We take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the news bulletin. Many thanks for being there and welcome back. Liberia National Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman has named motorcyclists and tricycle riders as the highest killers of citizens than any other moving object operators or crimes in Liberia. IG Coleman said a recent survey conducted by the LMP has revealed motorcyclists as the highest killers in Monrovia and its environs. According to him, the no-go zone restriction imposed on commercial bike riders, which prohibits them from flying from Freeport to Central Monrovia and other major corridors, was as a result of the surveyed findings. IG Coleman at the same time commended Stan Cheer Mobile Molu for taking legal action against the government's restriction against commercial bike riders. He added that once the Supreme Court ruled against the government in the case involving motorcyclists and the Liberian government, the restriction will immediately be lifted. The police inspector general further said it's good that Liberians have begun testing the judiciary on issues they are not satisfied with. In a dramatic turn of events on Tuesday, members of the ruling United Party Youth League stormed the grounds of the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises, demanding immediate employment opportunities. Dozens of individuals, predominantly youth of the United Party, were also seen at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, demanding job opportunities. At the headquarters of the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises, an estimated 50 to 100 demonstrators, many of whom are members of the Youth League of the ruling Unity Party, were seen forcefully entering the compound in an act of protest against the government's perceived failure to deliver on its promises of job creation. The protesters will firstly gather outside the Bureau's main entrance, chanted slogans calling for job security and fair opportunities while waving placards bearing the Unity Party's emblem. Several individuals carried The Bureau's security gates gaining access to the grounds and disrupting the agency's operation. Despite the chaos, no reports of physical violence were confirmed, including police making an arrest of an individual, but tensions remain high as police and security forces around or arrive on the scene. The United Party's supporters, many of whom feel that the government's economic promises have not materialized in their communities, have been protesting against the government. Despite repeated statements from the ruling United Party regarding job creation and economic growth, many citizens remain unemployed and relegated to underpaid and dangerous positions. Meanwhile, the Bureau of State owned enterprises' inability to offer new employment opportunities for youth under the United Party government has been silent by bureaucratic inefficiency, economic stagnation, and ongoing debates about privatization. The protest highlights a severe crisis of trust between the government and the citizens who feel increasingly disenfranchised. Supporters of the United Party, once seen as a political force capable of driving prosperity, now find themselves questioning the government's ability to fulfill its most basic promises. Political analysts point out that the United Party has struggled to address concerns about rising unemployment, particularly among youth and rural populations. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala has issued a stern warning to members of the Rule of Law caucus who were suspended by the majority bloc of the House of Representatives. Speaking during the 16-day sitting of the first quarter of the second section Tuesday, the Deputy Speaker said any suspended lawmakers seen around the premises of the legislature will be dealt with. He noted that suspended lawmakers would not be allowed to enter the House of Representatives or anywhere else legislative business is being conducted. The Deputy Speaker warning is said to have been prompted by reports of repeated violations of previous mandate by two lawmakers. According to the President Public Affairs Department of the House of Representatives, both Representatives Marvin Cole and Edward Flomo were seen on multiple occasions within the premises of the Capitol building in defiance of the terms of their initial suspension. On Tuesday, March 18, the majority bloc also voted to extend the suspension of Representatives Marvin Cole and Edward Flomo for additional 30 days and lifted the suspension of Mosurata District 15 Representative Abu Kamara. Representatives Cole, Flomo, and Kamara were suspended on November 19, 2024, by the majority bloc for what it described as misconduct. At long last, the Supreme Court of Liberia has formally set Wednesday, March 26, as date for argument in the Bill of Information filed by Imbato House Speaker, Councillor Fonati Kofa, against Majority Bloc Speaker Roger Cohn. The legal action is scheduled at 11 a.m. According to an official notice issued by the Supreme Court and signed by the Clerk of Court, the legal confrontation stems from a combative leadership dispute within the House of Representatives. The High Court also said the informants in the case include Representatives Kofa, the embattled speaker, along with allied lawmakers who are challenging the legitimacy of Representatives Kuhn role as protest speaker and Representative Thomas Fowler as deputy speaker. The majority bloc leaker team include Councillor Albert Sims and Vani Sherman, while the leaker team of embattled House Speaker Kofa includes Councillor Arthur Tamba, Watkins Wright, Jonathan Masakwe, Kabina Janin, and Elisha Fokeyo. However, Chief Justice Siane Ayo, alongside Associate Justices Hector Wolokoli Yusuf Kaba, Yami Weze, and Siane Clinton Johnson, are expected to prudently deliberate the constitutional implications of the unfolding leadership crisis at the legislature. The President of Liberia has officially launched what it termed New Policy and Regulatory Framework document. The document is aimed at ensuring journalistic integrity, accountability, and strengthening the rights of journalists while supporting the country's ongoing democratic growth. Speaking during the launch, PUL President Julius Kanwa said the policy will advance both the professionalism of journalists and the protection of press freedom in Liberia. According to him, the new regulatory framework will foster a media environment that is both accountable and responsible. Kanba also indicated that the initiative is in response to the evolving global media landscape and the need for a transparent, fair, and independent media structure within Liberia. Meanwhile, the PUO president also outlined the benefits that come with professional accreditation, noting that registered and accredited journalists will gain institutional recognition, voting rights, and opportunities for leadership positions within the union. The University of Liberia President Dr. Lydia Mapayan has pledged the university's continued support for academic programs and research aimed at advancing social work in Liberia. Serving as keynote speaker during the celebration of World Social Work Day on UL Capitol Hill campus, Dr. Mapayan said social workers are important in the development of every nation. The program was organized by the National Association of Social Workers of Liberia. She also described social work as the heartbeat of a just and compassionate society, stressing the vital role that social workers play in addressing Liberia's most pressing social issues. The University of Liberia president emphasized that social workers contribute significantly to various sectors, including family strengthening, child protection, elderly care, youth employment and empowerment, mental health, and community development. In separate remarks, the president of the Social Workers Association of Liberia, Dr. Kekula Fode, emphasized the importance of granting the social work association autonomy, stating that such a move will help restore dignity to social workers and enhance their ability to serve communities effectively. He also urged Liberians to take collective actions in ensuring that social workers receive the capacity building and respect they deserve. Grangeda County District 2 Representative Mary Johnson is calling on the executive branch of government to provide adequate support for Liberians who may be deported from the United States of America. Representative Johnson, in an interview Tuesday, made a reference to a communication she submitted to the House plenary, which she said was influenced by former American President Donald Trump's policy on deportation. She also pointed out the government past struggles in reintegrating Liberians who were forcibly returned from refugee camps in Ghana, stressing that a similar challenge could arise with deportees from the United States. The Grand Juda County lawmaker wants the government of Liberia to prepare and acquire much needed support for Liberians who will be deported from the US. She emphasized that some of these individuals were born in the United States and may face difficulties in coping with life in Liberia. Representative Johnson urged the government to prioritize education, housing, and employment opportunities for deportees to ensure a smooth reintegration process. Lofa County Attorney Councilor Luther Small says there are ongoing efforts to combat drug trafficking in the county and ensure public safety. His remarks are in response to the recent confiscation of illegal drugs in the region. Councilor Anthony Small, in an interview, emphasized the need for proper testing of the confiscated substances and the identification of the vehicle driver who allegedly collaborated with the drug dealer. According to him, the drugs were smuggled to Lofa County for sale, which posed high risks for the citizens. Small called on the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency and the Liberia National Police to conduct a joint investigation to ensure accountability in the recent confiscated drugs. The Civil Service Agency has blocked all salaries of government officials who have failed to comply with the Assets Declaration Directive issued by President Joseph Boakai. Following the salaries block, President Joseph Boakai has directed the CSA to collaborate with the Ministry of Finance to establish an escrow account for the cumulative block salaries. at least 90,808 United States dollars will be raised and placed in the escrow account. According to an executive mansion release, the funds will be allocated towards the One Child, One Cheer presidential initiative to ensure learning conditions in primary and secondary schools across the country. President Boakai also mandated the CSA to work alongside the Ministry of Education to ensure the timely procurement and distribution of cheers to schools in need. He further commended the CSA for its decisive action in showing compliance with the National Asset Declaration mandate. Maserati County District 3 Representative Smo Mobile has alarmed over what he described as continued death of people being placed in police custody. He said the police statutory mandate is to protect the lives and properties and dignity of every citizen in the society. Representative Mobile noted a resident of District Number 3, Maserati County, identified as Ishmael Koto, this year allegedly committed suicide at the Zone 8 EAW depot, according to police. According to an information, Ishmael Koto was involved in a fistfight with an individual who brutalized him, thereby leading to serious eye injury. A week following his brutalization, Koto later went to the same individual in retaliation to previous injury he sustained, which prompted him to gash their fellow on his neck. The police immediately arrested him and took him from District 3 to the EAW Zone 8 depot, where the police informed family members that he committed suicide in police cell by using his forehead to board a wall. And the Liberia National Police Deputy Inspector General for Operation Councilor Nelson Freeman has strongly refuted allegations made against him by Stand Chairman Moba Molu. On Monday, Moba Molu accused the LMP Deputy Inspector General for Operations of threatening to hit and kill commercial bike riders who failed to adhere to the government's no-go zone restriction. According to the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day head, the threatening statement was made Monday at the grounds of the Supreme Court during the hearing of the case involving the motorcyclists and the government of Liberia. In response to Molu's allegations, Councillor Nelson Freeman stressed disappointment over claims made by Stan Chia. He described the assertion as completely unfounded and devoid of any truth. The LNP Deputy Director for Operations in Response on Facebook said the accusations made by Moba Malu reflects broader concerns regarding his ongoing efforts to rehabilitate his public image. Councillor Freeman, who holds a prominent role in the LNP, reiterated that his position and actions are always governed by the principles of law and order, and that as a senior official, he remains committed to ensuring the safety of all citizens, including bike riders within the constraints of the law. However, the LNP has maintained that all actions taken by law enforcement are carried out in accordance with established laws and procedures with the goal of ensuring public safety and maintenance of order. The news bulletin will take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back. Let's now take this first development. The Liberia National Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman has named motorcyclists and tricycle riders as the highest killers of citizens than any other moving object operators or crimes in Liberia. IG Coleman said a recent survey conducted by the LMP has revealed motorcyclists as the highest killers in Monrovia and its environs. According to him, the no-go zone restriction imposed on commercial bike riders, which prohibits them from flying Freeport to Central Monrovia and other major corridors, was as a result of the survey findings. IG Coleman at the same time commended Stan Chia Mobamolu for taking legal action against the government's restriction against commercial bike riders.
So the issue of the motorcyclists here, we're not discussing an action that takes away their livelihood. We're not saying you cannot ride a motorcycle. We're not obstructing the free movement of any citizen. It's how you get to where you're going. The vehicle and traffic law empowers the police to make decisions on the safety of its citizens. We are the ones that the state empowered, trained, and empowered to make informed decisions as to what the citizens need to do to keep them safe. And it also requires the citizen to listen to us when we talk, adhere to the police instruction. For the safety of our people, we've made a great call. We looked at what's the number one killer. Is it crime? No. Accident. Who are the number one victims in these accidents? Motorcyclists and keke riders. Where are most of the major accidents occurring? Right within this particular belt that we're now restricting for the safety of our people. In this case, we're saying we're going to help you to make sure we have you riding on a safe condition in safe places so as to safeguard your life that you may not care about or you may not understand the danger you're posing to yourself and those who will commit to ride along with you. We're not saying do not ride. We want to cut off a small, tiny portion of the entire country and say let's keep this pace. We're hoping to get to a point where we build a culture of safety which does not exist here at all, because 90% of the people you see in vehicles are vehicle movers and not drivers. So there's no culture of safety. The people who are crossing the road don't know where to cross the road. The people who are riding on the road don't know how to even use the road. And that's why we're coming up with all these educational programs to help to safeguard the lives of our people and to start to build this culture of safety. And the reason why we want this culture to be established is because we, the police, don't have to run behind you, because now you understand the importance of safety. You understand the importance of safeguarding your own life and those who follow you on these bikes.
He's Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman. In a dramatic turn of events on Tuesday, members of the ruling United Party Youth League stormed the grounds of the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises, demanding immediate employment opportunities. Dozens of other individuals, predominantly youths of the United Party, was also seen at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, demanding jobs opportunities. At the headquarters of the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises, an estimated of 50 to 100 demonstrators, many of whom are members of the Youth League of the party, were seen forcefully entering the compound in an act of protest against the government's perceived failure to deliver on its promises of job creation. The protesters, who firstly gathered outside the Bureau's main entrance, chanted slogans calling for job security and fair opportunities while waving placards bearing the United Party's emblem. Here now is a highlight of the protest.
Chair of the United Party, maybe speak on the right at the every TV, coming to your life here. Instead, you eat a fresh where here and personally so if you join this scale they step into a person and on the capital pass.
A highlight of United Party Youth League members at the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises. They're demanding for job opportunities. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala has issued a stern warning to members of the Rule of Law Caucus who were suspended by majority bloc of the House of Representatives. Speaking during the 16th-day sitting of the first quarter of the second section Tuesday, Deputy Speaker said any suspended lawmakers seen around the premises of the legislature will be dealt with. He noted that suspended lawmakers will not be allowed to enter the House of Representatives or anywhere else legislative business is being conducted.
All of you, our colleagues, that are considered suspended, but this member of House of Representatives will encourage you to desist. Encourage you to desist from entering the premises of the House of Representatives, so you can serve your suspension. If you defy and continue to defy plenary mandate, you have plenary to deal with. And let's hear Pastor. Thank you.
Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala. The Press Union of Liberia officially launched what a term new policy and regulatory framework document. That document is aimed at ensuring journalistic integrity, accountability, and strengthening the rights of journalists while supporting the country's ongoing democratic growth. Speaking during the launch, PUL President Julius Kanuba said the policy will advance both the professionalism of journalists and the protection of press freedom in Liberia. According to him, the new regulatory framework will foster a media environment that is both accountable and responsible.
Fellow colleagues and members of the public, there are several benefits of being a registered and professionally accredited journalist and member of the PUL. First, the policy regulation supports the enforcement of the Constitution and bylaws of our union, as well as accompanying code of ethics and conduct for Liberian journalists and all members of the PUL. Second, the policy regulation provides a framework. We have invited you here today to address one of the most vital functions and essences of the PUL. This relates to supporting professionalism and social responsibility towards the greater development of democracy and freedom in Liberia. Supporting professionalism and social responsibility entails the advancement of journalistic integrity, media responsibility, strengthening the rights of journalists, fostering freedom of speech, freedom of the media, and independent journalism, as well as advocating for improved working conditions for all journalists, media, and communication practitioners. Journalistic integrity and media responsibility does not come without the existence of a professional governance mechanism guide the practice of journalism and media. In Liberia, as it is well known, the Press Union of Liberia is the foremost supreme institution that contributes prominently to the governance and institutionalization of professional journalism and responsible media across the length and breadth of our country. One of the core pillars of professional journalism and responsible media is the existence of a credible system of accounting for, rewarding, and holding accountable everyone engaged in the production of journalistic and media contents or products within the field of journalism, media, and communication. To this end, we are pleased to announce that in our collective push for journalistic integrity and media responsibility, the Press Union of Liberia has developed a policy regulation for the registration, professional accreditation, and accountability of journalists, media and communication practitioners, as well as media institutions operating in Liberia or with extensions in Liberia, considering the globalization of journalism and media.
Meanwhile, the PUL president also outlined the benefits that come with professional accreditation, noting that registering accredited journalists will gain institutional recognition, voting rights, and opportunities for leadership positions within the union. He added that members of the union will also have access to professional development programs, networking opportunities, and solidarity protection, which will help elevate the standards of journalism in Liberia.
Fellow colleagues and members of the public, there are several benefits of being a registered and professionally accredited journalist and member of the PUL. First, the policy regulation supports the enforcement of the Constitution and bylaws of our union, as well as accompanying code of ethics and conduct for Liberian journalists and all members of the PUL. Second, the policy regulation provides a framework for the proper, systematic, credible, and transparent registration, accreditation, and accountability of journalists and all members of the PUL. Third, the policy regulation lays out the bundles of rights, specifying the benefits and costs of being and not being a duly registered, professionally accredited journalist or recourse, consistent with due process in the instance where an applicant for a specific category of membership is denied in part or rejected in whole. Seventh, considering the recent rigmarole surrounding the manipulation of the membership registration, we believe the policy regulation serves as an important mechanism to eliminate fraud, thereby eradicating the emergence and perpetuation of conflict in the PUL regarding the production of the membership register. Being a registered and accredited journalist a member of the PUL confers on you a bundle of rights. For example, to be institutionally considered a professional accredited journalist, media or communication practitioner, governed by a professional body and by journalistic ethics and code of conduct, to vote and be voted for in the crucial leadership elections of the PUL.
If you just joining us, it's a reminder you are listening to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of accurate, balanced, and credible news about Liberia, Africa. And now, one word. Today is Wednesday, March 19, 2025. I'm Cornelius Johnson with this early morning edition of the program. Stories topping the headlines: Liberia National Police Inspector General brands motorcyclists as highest killers of citizens. Gregory Coleman says commercial bike and tricycle riders have killed more people than any other moving object operators or crimes in Liberia. Dozens of angry job-seeking members of the ruling Unity Party National Youth League lead protests at the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises and Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism in demand of immediate job opportunities. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Falai once suspended lawmakers to stay off the premises of the House of Representatives or face stringent actions, failure to adhere as the majority bloc extend Representatives Marvin Cole and Edward Flomo's suspension with additional 30 section days. Away from home, 8 countries, 6 of them in Africa, including Nigeria, Kenya, and Lesotho, could soon run out of HIV drugs following the U.S. government's recent decision to pause foreign aid. That's according to the United Nations World Health Organization. And Israeli military says it is carrying out extensive strikes in the Gaza Strip, with the Hamas-run health ministry reporting more than 400 people have been killed. We take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments right here this morning.
So the issue of the motorcyclists here, we're not discussing an action that takes away their livelihood. We're not.
Thanks for being there and welcome back. To this development now, the University of Liberia President Dr. Lydia Mapaya has pledged the university's continued support for academic programs and research aimed at advancing social work in Liberia. Serving as keynote speaker during the celebration of the World Social Work Day at the UL Capitol Hill campus, Dr. Mapaya says social workers are important in the development of every nation. The program was organized by the National Association of Social Workers of Liberia. She describes social work as the heartbeat of a just and compassionate society, stressing the vital role that social workers play in addressing Liberia's most pressing social issues. The University of Liberia president emphasized that social workers contribute significantly to various sectors, including family strengthening, child education or protection, elderly care, youth empowerment, mental health, and community development.
I'm humbled and honored to stand before you today as we celebrate World Social Work Day, a day set aside to recognize the invaluable contributions of social workers to society. Let me also congratulate the National Association of Social Workers in Liberia for this significant initiative, a step in the right direction. It brings out into the public's gaze the impact that social workers have made and continue to make in our country and the world at large. We have all gathered here to reaffirm our collective commitment to strengthening communities and fostering inclusive and enduring well-being in Liberia as enshrined in your national theme for this day. In fact, World Social Work Day has personal meaning for me because my own eldest son is a social worker. I'll never forget the time that he had to take a baby on an airplane to get that baby from a bad situation to a good one, and the time he had to go get some kids in the middle of the night from a dangerous domestic situation. He has put himself in harm's way to help others, and I'm proud of his service to the betterment of the world. And knowing that firsthand from him makes me all the more proud and connected with you today. So thank you for inviting me.
According to her, the growing need for mental health services must be addressed, reduce stigma surrounding psychological well-being. She underscored the importance of community development and social justice, advocating for inclusive growth and ensuring that marginalized communities have access to essential services and opportunities.
Solidarity is not just a noble aspiration. Rather, it's a necessity for sustainable development. In Liberia, as in many societies around the world, our communities are made up of diverse age groups with unique needs, experiences, and contributions. From our elders, who carry the wisdom of the past, to our youth, who represent the promise of the future. Every generation has a vital role to play in shaping our nation's trajectory, which is largely dictated by our diversity, our experiences, our tribes, and our cultures. However, challenges such as economic disparities, weakened family structures, and social isolation threaten this intergenerational bond. The role of social work, therefore, is to foster environments where knowledge, resources, and support flow seamlessly across generations.
In separate remarks, the president of the Social Workers Association of Liberia, Dr. Kekula Fode, emphasized the importance of granting the association autonomy, stating that such a move will help restore dignity to social workers and enhance their ability to serve communities effectively. He also urged Liberians to take collective actions in ensuring that social workers receive the capacity building and respect they deserve.
We have initiated a process that there got to be a place where there is a centralized location where we work from, because people will take you serious when you take it at your own home. So we want to make sure that this leadership, we can't achieve anything. We want to make sure that we have an area where when you say I'm going to the headquarters of the social work in Liberia, you go there. And when you go there, it's not just an headquarters, but you will feel that yes, I'm at a headquarters that belongs to Broom solve problem. Because we are not just an advocate, like the keynote speaker said. We have to strengthen our family, but we are also developing community development, social justice. But we can't effectively do those if we don't even have a place to sit down to work. So today as we celebrate, I want you not to forget the challenges, because the intergenerational solidarity, the bond that we need to ensure collective security, stability in society, cannot come if we don't contribute.
He is the president of the Association of Social Workers of Liberia, Dr. Kekula Fode. Earlier, you listened to the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lydia Mapaya. Grand Juda County District 2 Representative Marie Johnson is calling on the executive branch of government to provide adequate support for Liberians who may be deported from the United States of America. Representative Johnson, in an interview Tuesday, made a reference to a communication system submitted to the House plenary, which she said was influenced by current American President Donald Trump's policy on deportation. She also pointed out that the government past struggles in reintegrating Liberians who were forcibly returned from refugee camps in Ghana, stressing that a similar challenge could arise with deportees from the United States of America. The Grand Juda County lawmaker wants the government of Liberia to prepare and acquire much needed support for Liberians who will be deported from the U.S.
Well, my communication to plenary today has to do with the deportation proceeding that is going on in the United States of America by President Donald Trump. My concern is that being last year, I was the chair on LRRC. And during that time, I noticed that our brothers and sisters that was returning home from Ghana, when they got here, was very chaotic. They really had a tough time simply because we are not prepared to receive them. And so they got here, we did receive them, but some of them couldn't even find or lodging, they couldn't find anywhere to go. Some of them just come in the country for the first time in their life. I mean, they were born in Ghana. They got here, didn't have no relatives, nowhere to go. It was really, really difficult. We went through a tough time to get them situated in Liberia and to become part of the community and the society. Up to now, I'm sure some of them are still going through, difficulties adjusting. So in my own view now, I'm saying that I'm praying that Liberia will be able to receive these Liberians from abroad if they are deported. And that we are prepared this time around to be able to receive them. Because imagine being in America all your life, or maybe some of them were even born there. Some will be coming from out of jail, some will be just coming from home, or some have not been working because
She's the representative of District 2 in Grangita County, Mary Johnson. Maserati County District 3 Representative Sumo Mobile has alarm over what he described as the continued death of people being placed in police custody. He said the police statutory mandate is to protect lives and properties and the dignity of every citizen in the society. Representative Mobile noted a resident of District 3 Maserati County identified as Ishmael Koto this year allegedly committed suicide at the Zone 8 EAW depot, according to police information. A week following his brutalization, Koto later went to the same individuals in retaliation to previous injury he sustained, which prompted him to gouge their fellow on his neck. The police immediately arrested him and took him from District 3 to the EAW Zone 8 depot, where the police informed family members that he committed suicide. He committed suicide in police cell by using his forehead to board the wall. Here now is Representative Small Mobile.
Then I remember quite recently I received information from my district, district number 3. There was an incident between one Ismail Koto, a young man, a young energetic man who lived in the district from the Pacopian Bell. I think they had a fight previously, and he was wounded from the eye. He couldn't see from the eye. The whole left eye was damaged. Then they started like to bully him. So he went by the following week to do a fight, and it ended up so bloody that he gashed the other guys from the neck, and he was sent for pre-trial. What he did was not good. I consider it barbaric, but at the same time, everyone have their fundamental right, and they should be tried and they should be prosecuted if guilty. So he was sent to not what concerned me. He was sent not in our surrounding where we have depot. He was sent to Zone 8, EAW District number 6. And February 20th, he arrived there and was put into prison for pre-trial. And
He's the representative of Maserati County District number 3, Small Mobile. Away from home now, 8 countries, 6 of them in Africa, including Nigeria, Kenya, and Lesotho, could soon run out of HIV drugs following the U.S. government's recent decision to pause foreign aid. That's according to the United Nations Health Organization. U.S. President Donald Trump announced the freeze on his first day in office in January as part of a review into government spending. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus warned disruption to HIV programs could undo 20 years of progress. It could also lead to more than 10 million additional cases of HIV and 3 million HIV-related deaths, he added, noting this was more than triple, he noted this was more than triple the number of deaths last year. And Israeli military says it is carrying out extensive strikes in the Gaza Strip, with Hamas-run health ministry reporting more than 400 Palestinians have been killed. The Israeli Defense Force said it is attacking what is called terror attacks or targets belonging to Hamas. The strikes are continuing, and the IDF has issued fresh evacuation orders for many areas. Mohamed Abu Bafo, Deputy Interior Minister in Gaza and the Interior's or territory's highest ranking Hamas security official, is among the dead. 4 other people, senior officials, were later reported killed. This is the largest wave of airstrikes in Gaza since the ceasefire began on January 19 this year. Well, that's all the time we have for this morning edition of King's Newsroom. But just before we go, our stories we closely following the headlines. Liberia National Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman brands motorcyclists as highest killers of citizens. Gregory Coleman says commercial bike riders and tricycle riders have killed more people than any other moving object operators or crimes in Liberia. Dozens of angry job-seeking members of the ruling Unity Party National Youth League lead protests at the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises and the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism in demand of immediate job opportunities. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala once suspended lawmakers to stay off the premises of the House of Representatives of face stringent actions failure to adhere, as the majority bloc extend Representatives Marvin Cole and Edward Flomo's suspension with additional 30 session days. Away from home, 8 countries, 6 of them in Africa, including Nigeria, Kenya, and Lesotho, could soon run out of HIV drugs following the U.S. government's recent decision to pause foreign aid. That's according to the United Nations World Health Organization. And Israeli military says it is carrying out extensive strikes in the Gaza Strip, with the Hamas-run health ministry reporting more than 400 Palestinians have been killed. Many thanks to all of our correspondents, reporters, and editors who helped in making this edition of King's News a success. Join us at 1 p.m. this afternoon for another presentation of King's Newsroom. On behalf of the entire team, my name is Cornelius Johnson. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching. Good morning.